Well, folks, I just shut the stream off. If you saw the little bit of that happened, you know it's still a right. I will put some effort out into. I filmed what it's doing this time, so maybe the ISP will believe me that I'm not making this up, because I think they don't believe me. Before we start, do we have anything I need to do over here? Nope, not there. But I think there is something I need to do over here. How do I fix this from here? Here we go. Refresh that. Okay. I just woke up and rolled out of bed a little while ago. Where is it? That one? Oh, is it this one? Nope. Is it this one? Oh, that one. Why is that so hard to get to? That's fine. I am riding the struggle bus today. These last couple mornings have been a bit of a challenge. I don't know why. I'm not out doing anything I shouldn't be doing any more than usual. It's just why can't all these be in the same place? There we go. Okay, there we go. I do need... No, not that. No, not that. Okay. I wish this was not what it is, but that's what we got, so it's what we're going to deal with. I guess I will be recording some Ghost of a Tale today, too. All right. Sunday morning Minecraft. Man. I'm what you call it. I'm tore up. I don't know. Just the last couple days when I wake up in the morning, I just like, ugh. Just gross. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't look up a thing. I was supposed to look up a mob farm thing, and I didn't do it. Why did I bring all this cobblestone with me? What was the reason for that? Somebody remind me. I keep pushing the wrong button. I've been playing a lot of Hightail in my in between time. Now I don't remember how any of the buttons work. Can't I find the thing I want now? Oh, I know why. I know why. So I'm still trying to debate if we go with the redstone lamps here. I like the look of them compared to the regular glowstone, but the problem is you have to have redstone to power them, so we'd have to put some redstone somewhere. And because the lamp is a single block tall, we really need like a 2-block deep. You know, if the lamp's here, we want block around covering it, and then we want on top of it our power source, and then we want on top of that a cover. So it is much less space efficient. So I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. I see a creeper. Can we hit it? Oh my God, we did. Wow. Ah, you fell into my accidental trap, creeper. Tell you, I've kind of gotten used to some of the things Hytale does that Minecraft doesn't do. Yeah. Things that Minecraft can do, but I've turned off, and I might turn them on, like automatically running up single space things. Like single height blocks, you know. I didn't realize that was a thing I was going to miss so much till I didn't have it. Now we ain't going to worry about him. All right. Let's go spend an hour working on the island. Still got crap to do over there. I don't know. There's some new things happening in Hytale. I don't know how long they've been there. I don't know if they've been there from the start because I, didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. But that's not what I do, ladies and gentlemen. But you can tame animals now. That's a thing. Tamed a horse. That was a thing. They don't stay put very well. I think I need to find out how to make a lead for horses. What else? Explored some new biomes. Kind of have a better idea of how that's supposed to happen. How that's supposed to work. Yeah, I think that's fine. Died a lot. I've died a bunch. I don't know why I've been dying so much. I've had some armor problems. So that's one thing. Trying to get my crafting stuff all upgraded so I can make better equipment, but some of the crafting tables require specific materials, and some of them are kind of hard to to find. My struggle right now is getting medium animal hide. There's lots of things around my home that have light, and there's lots of things that have heavy, but there's not a lot of things that have medium. Like rabbits have light, and bears have heavy. There's lots of rabbits. There's lots of bears. There's spiders. I think spiders should drop hide, but they don't. They just drop poison sacs. You gotta go find wolves. Wolves have been a consistent source of medium, but you gotta go find them. They're not always easy to find. It's still, I'm enjoying it. It's still a fun game. It's just different, you know? We talked about that a little bit when we tried it. It's Minecraft, but different. And not like Terraria was Minecraft, but different when Terraria was a new thing. And that's an option. Something we can do in the future if we get tired of Minecraft. We could do some Terraria. We could do some Hytale. I don't know. It just... I'm afraid if we stop Minecrafting, then by the time we come back to Minecraft, you know, all these projects are going to be like, what the hell were we doing again? I don't remember. You know how it goes. You know what I should do is we should bring some of our materials that we, you know, are making equipment with here and put them in the chest, because we've got a furnace here. We've got a workbench. I guess the other thing we could do too is we're gonna have all this stone and there's trees around. Instead of making iron pickaxes to do this job, we could make stone. It'd take a little longer, but I think we'd save time running back and forth to the house. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. It's also, I guess, would be a perfect opportunity to use our diamond pick, but I feel like this is a waste of a diamond pick. Let's grab all of this. And we'll start here. Only there was a dirt machine. We could get a machine to make dirt. That'd be in business. We have used a ton of dirt in this world because we've done so much. You know, we did a ton over there many, many weeks ago. We've been doing this for almost 5 months now. I haven't looked at exactly when we started, but it was February. End of January, February, maybe? Because as I've been adding these to the website, I'm doing a 2-column thing because I like columns. Columns are great. I think columns are great for websites. Saves you some vertical space. My plan was always, when we get to June, we'll split. Start a second column. And so that's what we did. And we've started the second column, which would tell me that that's 6 months. How I planned that, But maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I made it all up. My nose itches. Oh, God. 1, 2, 3. I do have a bit of a plan for how I want to proceed when we get this all cleared out. Basically, we're taking it all down so we can build it all back up later in the way that I would like it to be. And I do have something in mind. Not wearing my headphones. And I turned the sound down just in case, and then I thought I heard a noise that I need to hear, so I got to turn the sound back up. I need some of those fancy schmancy neck phones like our patron saint of live streaming, Phil wears. She had to get him because he was getting ear infections. And that was it. His bald spot isn't from the headphones, but his ear infections were. I know we've talked about it, but he is just a strange man. We all have little things, right? Sometimes they get lumped into a class of addictions. We all do. I say that. I don't really know what mine are. Sleeping's pretty great. I don't do enough of that lately. But like I drink. I don't drink to excess. There was a time in my life I did. What happened to you, fish? There was a time in my life that I did drink to excess, and I was using it to get through some stuff, and that was very unhealthy of me, and I don't do that anymore. Not saying that I don't, once in a while get a little sloshed, but it's not near as often as it used to be. And I do smoke. I just picked that up a year or two ago. I bought a pipe, right? But that's like sitting out in the backyard by a fire, or sitting out here in the studio working on something. It's not cigarettes don't appeal to me. And some people, they like them. That's their thing. It's not my thing. Tried cigars. Cigars were kind of nice, but cigars are expensive. Yeah, kind of with the drinking thing too. Like the whiskey I like is expensive, and that really puts a hamper on drinking to excess when it's like, God, it's like $9 this little glass right here. So I don't do that. It's the, God, my nose itch so much. Must be all that cocaine. It's the ceremony of the thing when it comes to like smoking a pipe. For me, it's the ceremony of the thing. I saw a spider over there. It's the whole act of, you know, get the pipe out, make sure it's clean, and get the this and get the that, take care of this, make sure this is okay, and then do this. And you know, there's a lot to it. And I enjoyed that part of it. And same thing with whiskey. You know, it's I don't drink to get drunk when I'm drinking whiskey. If I want to get drunk, I'll drink something else. But for me, the whiskey thing is, you know, savoring the whiskey. You know, appreciating all the effort that went into, you know, the years it took to make this and the blending of the spirit, malts and all of that. That's what I like when it comes to whiskey. So it's not a pound it kind of thing. Excuse me. Anyway, come on. All that to say, our good buddy Phil. Phil's got himself, I think, a legit gambling addiction. He spent tens of thousands of dollars. He could have bought a car with the money he spent on a mobile game, WWE Champions. He legit, it was like over $100,000, I think, is what it ended up actually being when the bank leaks were all said and done. You know, you hear him talk about it, and of course he'll do whatever he can do to poo-poo it, but you know, he lied about it for years. And then when he finally got caught, you know, it's not a big deal. You know, so I play mobile games, so what? You know, the mobile games isn't the problem. That you play them isn't the problem. That you spend all of this money, that's, you know, that's fine too. It's, if it was your money, here's the rub in that situation, you know. Imagine me, ladies and gentlemen, your old pal Jason. Imagine me coming out here in streams and on videos and saying, guys, you know, this is my job. I do this for a living. I stream, you know, 30-something hours a week. I stream, you know, basically full-time job hours, which is what he says he does, and he kind of does. Not because he has to, it's just because he doesn't want to go out and get a real job. But, you know, me coming out and saying, guys, blah, 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 blah. You know, here's my spiel. And I do a spiel, right, at the end of each stream. But this is different. This is me coming to you and saying, guys, this is, you know, my livelihood depends on crowdfunding and tips and donations from you guys. And if I don't get them, I'm going to lose my house, and I'm going to lose my cat, and I'm going to lose my this, and I'm going to lose my that. You know, I won't be able to go out and have a have a nice meal with my mom wife. We'll have to eat lunch meat sandwiches. These are things he has said. I'm not making that up. Ow. I understand how that works. You know, me basically going through all of that multiple times a day. Every day I make a video, in every stream. And then, you know, later you find out I've spent $100,000 on a mobile game. Spending the money on the mobile game isn't a thing. I spent money on mobile games. I still do spend money on mobile games. Every 3 months, Azure Lane has a little event. And to unlock all of the in-game perks, it's $10. So $40 a year I spend on that game. And it, you know, I sit and I play it for half an hour every couple of days. Maybe an hour if it's a weekend and I got nothing else going on, right? The lengths to which people go to track his activities is a little concerning. But, you know, I can only say he only has himself to blame on this because he is so dishonest about everything. He doesn't play it. He's never played it. He never will play it. He's not interested in that. Okay, maybe he's played it a little bit, but, you know, it's not like what people are saying. Everybody's crazy. They're making this, you know, who in their right mind would do such a thing? Okay, well, yes, this account was mine, and yes, I was playing it, but I sold it, and I don't play it anymore. And, you know, this is the whole chain of events that he went through with this thing when it came out that he was playing it. And you listen to him talk about it, and he's like, these people are upset that I'm playing a mobile game. Nobody's upset that you're playing a mobile game, Philip. People are upset that you cried poverty while dropping 100K on a mobile game. You know what I mean? So somewhere, somehow his bank account got leaked, which I don't condone that. But that's kind of how this whole thing started. Somebody managed to, and not like broke in and stole his money, but kind of like did an automated list your transactions kind of thing. And, you know, it was sometimes multiple times a day, every day. Like it's like $109 to PayPal, like multiple times a day, every day. And that just happened to be whatever the amount was. It was $100 and something. If you bought a $99 basically like energy pack or whatever in this WWE Champions game that he played, if you bought that with the sales tax, it was like $109, whatever it was. I don't remember the exact amount. Not important. And was it all that? No, probably not. You know, people use PayPal for a lot of different things. I used to use PayPal for a lot of different things. Twitch subscriptions, Steam, certain purchases. I'm not using PayPal anymore because, you know, Peter Thiel's a Nazi asshole. Just like his co-founder of PayPal, Elon Musk. They're a bunch of winners. So I got rid of all that. But point being, you know, you don't do that, right? You don't use your audience to fund your hobbies and lie about it, right? Like if I was making stream money, like big stream bucks, which I'm not, I never will. You know, I get a little payout from Twitch every 6 months or so, and it's basically nothing. I don't want to downplay it like, oh, I make $5. You know, it's enough to pay my internet bill once a month for 2 months because I get paid twice a year. But like, if I'm making bank on my YouTube or my Twitch or my Kick or my whatever, it is very disingenuous of me to come to you guys and say, guys, you know, I got no money for food. It's my 1 day off a week. I don't want to have to eat a, quote, lunch meat sandwich like a poor person on my 1 day off a week. So we need to step it up, get the support, get the whatever. And I say all this because we were talking about addictions, and Phil is 100% addicted to gambling in multiple forms. Because his latest, greatest idea, folks, is Pokemon cards. Phil has decided he wants to get into this Pokemon card thing. So he will buy a case, 36 packs of Pokemon cards. He'll spend $300, $400, $500 each, because you can't just go to the card store and buy them. So you have to buy them from scalpers. And this is a thing that is not true. People have found that this is not true. For one, so again, he's lying again. But he's basically got self-inflicted agoraphobia on top of all his other neuroses. He won't leave the house. He's scared to leave the house because he's afraid people are going to recognize him. He says he's, you know, in fear for his life. Someone's going to beat him up, kill him, whatever. And that's just not true. I mean, if he smarts mouth off to people like he has in the past, he's probably going to get confronted. He has been confronted before, back when he was playing fighting games all the time. You know, he was talking trash, and the guy he was talking trash to just kind of rolled up on him. And, you know, Bill's mouth was writing checks his body couldn't cash. Nothing happened. I think something should have happened, but nothing happened. But, you know, he was scared. According to the dude telling the story, like, he was shaking. He was so scared. Anyway, so that's his new addiction. He's spending all this money on Pokemon cards. And the way he started this little project was, if you, individual viewer, give him $100, not cumulative, not if we had $100 on support, because it's not money, it's support now. Because people were making fun of him for how much he said the word money, so he just changed it to support. If he made $100 on a stream, he would open 1 pack of cards. And his audience basically shamed him to the point where he said, okay, 50. But this is still 50. $50 to open 1 pack of Pokemon cards. And this, at the time, had to be a single $50 contribution. Could not be cumulative. It couldn't be 5 different people giving $10. It had to be $50, 1 person. But even then, somebody did give him $50 one stream, and he didn't open any cards. And when he was confronted about that, he said, well, the person didn't say it was for the cards. They just said, here's $50. This went on for weeks, ladies and gentlemen. And it's his audience, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But they've been fine with doing this. Because he's, you know, he made it through a couple of cases. Basically making like $1,800 per case. Because there's 36 packs in a case. He was charging $50 per pack, and he's been through multiple cases. But he starts jonesing for it. Like, you can tell when you watch him. You know, really gotta get that. We gotta, guys, we need to open some Pokemon cards. We really gotta. You know, you guys were loving this, and now I don't know where all the money's, the support's dried up. And I don't understand, and we might have to stop doing it, but I've already went and bought this, and bought that, and bought this, and bought that. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do, because, you know, I thought you guys liked Pokemon cards, and I thought you liked when I did this. You know, guilt trips his audience. And that ain't right. There's really not a lot going on in my life right now. Spend some time with old Phil. He's just a different animal, man. So I say all this because he's started buying packs and or cases and is opening them off stream because he you know, he wants that hit, man. He wants to get the super awesome ultra thing. I don't know anything about Pokemon cards, but that's his new thing, and he's really into it. Can't say I like it. And you know, all this to say, they said this is part of his gambling addiction, because that's what it is. You know, he's not buying the packs to collect the cards. He's disguising that with, like, I bought some binders and I'm putting them, you know, in order based on this and based on that. But what he's doing, you know, he's hoping, he's like, we're gonna get this super ultra Charizard, guys, something, I don't know. And if it was just about collecting the cards, it wouldn't matter. If it was about, you know, and anything else, wouldn't matter. This is what he's doing. And it's just a repeat of the stuff he was doing in the past. And it ain't great, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't great. Because he's taking people for a ride. Sorry, I had to have a stretch. A part of the problem that old Phil has never really caught on to is he's playing Symphony of the Night. Okay. He's played it once before. He loves it. It's a great game. It's one of the greatest games of all time. He's played it once before. He got to the upside down castle and he said, this is stupid. So he quit playing it and he never went back to it. Blah, 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 blah. Right. So now he's playing it again at the behest of a lot of his audience. But he loves the game. He absolutely loves the game. But if the support's not going to be there, we're not going to play it anymore. And somebody asked me to play Rondo of Blood. And if, you know, people aren't going to support, then why should I play it? Why should I waste my time? Well, you know, that's just a really shitty attitude. Right? Like, if you like the game, play the game. You know, if people want to see you play a game, they'll watch you play the game. But this is his thing. You know, supposedly he went to like school and got a degree for business. So he approaches every decision as a business decision. Like there's a boardroom involved. That was a joke about him for a while, is that, you know, anytime support was down, we had to have a management meeting. And that was basically Phil talking to his audience off. Stream would be on, but he wouldn't record it. Because Phil does weird stuff. Okay. Excuse me. He'll have a stream going, okay, and he'll stop the recording to have one of these business meetings with his audience. And he does that because he doesn't want people, he doesn't want the quote-unquote business meeting to get recorded and clipped, because he knows it's a bad look. But what this means is he has to take down his streams every time he's done streaming, or he has to cut them up and then upload the non-business meeting segments, basically as like a let's play kind of thing. So imagine, you know, you and me, audience, faithful viewers, tall and proud. That's for you, that one guy. We're here, we're streaming, we're having a good time, and then, you know, my donation bar isn't filling up as fast as I'd like, so I say in the stream, okay, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in a couple minutes, you know, like we do break time on the Monday night streams. Man, nose. Right? Okay, following along with me. And so I turn off the recording. I keep the stream on. I go take a 10-minute bathroom break and just leave background music playing. Nothing on screen to look at. And I come back and then I berate you, my audience, because, you know, support is down. And I don't understand. I thought you guys wanted this. You know, people told me that this is what we wanted to do and this is what we wanted to see. Blah, blah, blah. And that's how he operates. It's not cool. And then, you know, he comes back, hits that record button again. Hey, everybody, welcome back to blah, da, 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 da. Last time we were blah, da, blah, da, blue, and then we were going to dooba-dibba-dooba-doo. So let's get back to doob-dab-dee-ba-doo with zoob-dab-dab-a-doo. I'm going to try it. It's just, you know, it's scuzzy, right? And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, I have never given you folks reason to think that way or feel that way about me. You know, I try and offer what I think is a decent product at a decent price. You know, it's free. It's pretty good. I would never not play a game because you guys weren't subscribing or donating or whatever. Not saying that, you know, we don't have some milestones we want to hit. Like 500 subscribers on YouTube. And we'll, was it 500 for Earthbound? I think it was 500 for Earthbound. 450, we were going to finish looking at the game collection. 500 for Earthbound. That's what it was. And we're, at the time I'm recording this, 441. We're, you know, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. But I wouldn't say, guys, I need $150 or I'm not going to play Earthbound. Or I wouldn't say, you know, guys, we made a you know, we made $700 in support on yesterday's stream, but we've only made 120 on today's stream, and the goal is 150. So I don't know what's going on. It's just, I don't understand. I don't understand him, and I don't understand the people who watch him and think that that's okay. I don't. It does not make sense to me. It's got to be some kind of like weird, you know, on some level. I don't know. I started that sentence. Now I don't want to finish it. It's got to be some weird kind of like psychological submission thing. You know, berate me, Phil. Berate me. It's how I get excited. It turns me on when you call me a moron, a mouth drooling idiot, because that's what he calls people. Calls them morons, mouth droolers. He's used the word retard before, directly to people, you know, and he has broken terms of service so many times on so many different platforms. I don't understand. And, you know, it's just people don't report it, I think, is the thing. If people would report it, he would be gone. And then the world would be a happier place. Because the problem is he gets these little bumps of attention, and that just so goes to his head. But he doesn't get them by any kind of natural way. It's not organic. Like, he tries to find a situation to insert himself into, you know. So he doesn't do drama. Doesn't want to talk about drama. Doesn't do drama. Drama content's for losers. But let's talk for an hour and a half about Wings of Redemption or Low Tier God or any of these other people. Don't want to do drama. Don't want to do drama. Don't want to do drama. Ladies and gentlemen, my special guest for my Christmas stream, Ethan Ralph. No drama. It's just weird, man. It's just weird. He tried to do a political stream for a little while. Failed at that because he can't take a position on anything. Right? I don't think my politics are a mystery. I've never hidden them. I've never pretended to. It's just we don't talk about it because that's not what we're here for. But if someone asks a question, wants to talk about it, hey, we'll talk about it. I don't care. Politics, religion, whatever. You want to have a conversation? We will have a conversation. I'm happy to talk about whatever. But part of that is I do have positions. I have thoughts. I have, this is what I think about this. This is what I think about that. I'm happy to tell you about this or that. And, you know, that is not exclusive to those topics. It can be anything. Like, I'm not going to name names because it's not my business, but somebody was asking me if I would play the Seventh Guest remake, and I said, no, I'm not interested in it. And they said, but you played the original. You should play the remake. And I said, it's because I played the original. I don't want to play the remake. I don't like remakes. I have played a couple. I openly admit that. And if I play a remake, it is generally because either I don't have the original, or if it's something I'm going to record, it is because the remake is easier for me to record than the original. Or a report or whatever. I do not, like, was there clamoring for a Seventh Guest remake? I don't know. I've seen footage. It just doesn't look the same. It doesn't seem to have the charm that the original had. Now, the original was a pain in the ass to get to record right. because it crashed a lot and hung up on certain things. But, you know, we got through it. But I don't, you know, there's no reason. Well, what about the new Ocarina of Time remake? Why? Why is there a new Ocarina of Time? There's already 4 different ways you can play Ocarina of Time. It's been remastered at least twice, I think. I don't care. I don't, you know, I just don't care. When I played GoldenEye, we played it on the Switch, and I played it on the Switch because it's a lot easier for me to record from the Switch than it is my N64. When we get around to doing Ocarina of Time, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to play it on the Switch because it's easier for me to record off the Switch than my N64. That's kind of how I operate when it comes to some of this stuff. I don't, you know, oh, the graphics are so much better. Yeah, but I don't care. You know, I'm playing this game because I like this game. It doesn't matter to me, you know, if the graphics are super ultra 4K HD whatever. I just like the game. That's why I'm playing the game. Not every game is a visual masterpiece. You know, if the game's good, it doesn't have to be. Like Minecraft, not particularly when it came out, a very exciting game to look at. But the gameplay is good. Right? The gameplay is really fun. Hytale is more interesting graphics than Minecraft. Gameplay is a little more interesting. So I get so annoyed at Squaresoft because I guess there's another Final Fantasy VII now. What is this? I didn't look into it because I don't care that much. But this is the reason I don't care that much, because we had Final Fantasy VII, right? And then Final Fantasy VII was remastered, ? Or just released for PC. And then sometime it was remastered again, and then we had another version of the game that was more modern, and then we had another version of the game that was not that version of the game. And I guess the new one is more traditional RPG, but all modern. And how fast are they churning these out? These are getting churned out really fast. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know, make a new game. I will be more excited if a game developer makes a new game in a series that I enjoy than them re-releasing another version of the same game. Because it's not, and maybe it's just because I'm old. Maybe it's just because I'm old. And I remember when the Game Boy was brand new and the Super Nintendo was brand new and this and that. Maybe it's because I remember all this stuff. You know, I don't need a game to look pretty. Have fun playing it. I just need it to play good. I need the game to be interesting. You know, decent story, decent controls, decent gameplay, whatever the case may be. I just need it to play good. I don't care what it looks like. The Dragon Quest VII remaster. Of all the games, that is my least favorite Dragon Quest. I've played all of them up to 11 now. You were there. Of all of them, I think that is the worst Dragon Quest game. There were better games that could have been re-released before that one. They could have, you know, not that I would have played any of them, but, you know, it just bothers me. And it was like $70. And this is after they remastered Dragon Quest III, which was also like $70. There is no reason for those games to be that expensive. It's not a brand new game. You didn't have a team coming up with stories and music and, you know, programming and scenarios and all this other stuff. You had something that already existed and you fancied it up a little bit. Like those stupid Final Fantasy pixel remasters that look like garbage. And they play like garbage. I have talked about that before. I will bring that up until the day I die. They made the game look slightly better. They made it basically look like one generation newer than it was. But only for 3 of the games, because all the other games were already 16-bit. And there's probably some argument that, no, these are 32-bit. Well, it really doesn't matter. I swear the first 3, or the first 2 at least, use the exact same music from the PlayStation versions. So it's not like you had to put a lot of work into that. I don't know, folks. It just rubs me the wrong way. Right? When these companies are like, yeah, here's what people have been wanting. What's Bethesda, you know? A lot of people are really excited for Fallout 5. Who knows when that's going to happen? Because are they doing like another Skyrim remaster or something? There's already like 3 different Skyrims. And I know I've told this story. If you count all of the numbered Final Fantasy games, if you just go from 1 to 10, okay, that's 10 games. And you count every version of each of those games that exists, there are over 100 different versions of those first 10 games you can play. Reports, remasters, re-releases, portable, PC, console, whatever. There's over 100 different versions of the first 10 Final Fantasy games. That is ridiculous, I think. And I don't agree with it at all. I don't think that should be a thing. I honestly and truly don't. Like I said, I'd be much more excited if they just made a new game. You know, to be cool, Dragon Quest 12. If there was a Dragon Quest 12, I would probably be interested in playing that. Because 8 and 11 were so good. 9 was pretty good. I liked 9, but 8 was really good and 11 was really good. Capcom, hey, how about a new Mega Man X game? Because 8 was pretty good. Give me something to work with here. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. All right. Here's our goal. We're gonna get rid of all this dirt. And then we'll go do something else. But do we get Mega Man X9? No, we get the Mega Man Battle Network Super Ultra Collection ZX Network something. And I don't know, like, I bought the Mega Man X collections on Steam. I did. I paid money for that. I didn't pay full price for that. I wouldn't pay full price for that. But there's games in there, like, I don't own 4, 5, or 6 physical copies. I own physical copies of 7 and 8 because when I was Let's Playing those, you couldn't emulate them worth a damn. So I played them on the hardware. So I bought the collections, the legacy collections. Right? And what I found out was they look like garbage. They look like absolute trash. This pick's going to break any second. Told you. So when I booted up Mega Man X8 to try it on the Legacy Collection, just to try it, it really looked terrible. It was blurry. It was pixely at the same time. It looked bad. So for funsies, I went and got I have a PlayStation 2 emulator, and I went and got the ROM and booted it up that way, and it was so much better. It was so much better that way. It wasn't great, but it was better. Made a horrible mistake. Didn't need as much coal as I thought I did either. We'll get rid of that. Okay, we'll go with that. So, anyway. I'm not the target audience for that kind of thing. So if you're going to say, hey, Jason, you should check this out. It's a remaster of this game that you've already played. Just know I'm not going to be very invested in that. Nothing against you. It's just not my thing. Now, if it's a game I've never played before, or like I said, is kind of difficult to play, that's different. Like, we did 7th Guest. I'd like to do 11th Hour, but 11th Hour is difficult. It really doesn't record very well. It doesn't play very well. So if there's an 11th Hour that's, updated for modern systems, I'd probably consider that. When I did Myst, I've recorded Myst. Myst will come out for Patreon people in, just July, just next month. I have the original, but same kind of thing. Getting that to play on a modern system is difficult. When I was doing Darkstar, I considered briefly, do I go and try and buy an old system, like a late 90s, early 2000s system to play some of these games on, because I've been doing so much of them lately. Because even like what do you call it? Like VirtualBox really wasn't doing the job for most of these either. And then eventually we did get Darkstar working, kind of. So, we didn't have to do that, but it was something that was on my mind. Okay. So, we got a lot kind of accomplished in that hour. Now let's think about this mob farm. Where do we want it? Going to be in the mountains, I think, for sure. I think that's a good idea. It's that gravel I just threw away. We want it close, but not close, We don't want to have to travel for hours to get there. We could do a mine cart to take us up to it. That's an option. So let's go scope out a location here. This one's nice and close, but I don't want it. It's too close. I don't want to see it as part of the thing. I mean, we're going to see it no matter what, but I'd rather it not be a giant eyesore. We did a Minecraft stream a few years ago and built one. It was... If you ever played SimCity 2000 and you got to the end of the game where you can start building the Darkos, or the Arcos. Yeah. And there's the Dark Arco, the Darko. And it just looks like a horrible abomination of architecture and, you know, the kind of thing you'd see in like dystopian futuristic movies. Like in the description, like there's weaving paths that go nowhere. People have gone into the vents and never come back. You know, that kind of thing. That's what the mob farm looked like in that stream. It was horrible. And I kind of want to avoid that. And I also kind of want to keep it away from the really lush green stuff, just because I like the look of the really lush green stuff. So we could go... See, we'd see it here. But is that far enough away? We can come over here. That's a little better. A little farther away. The other thing is we go like way the hell over there. Way the hell over there. We wouldn't see it for sure over there. But even if we did that via minecart, how many thousands? That'd be a lot. I feel like that's too far away. I think it's going to be here. I think this is it. So first thing, what let's do, let's get ourselves set up to do some work around here. Let's flatten the top of this. I've been sleeping on copper. This ain't too bad. A little better than stone, I think. Okay. You'll come out. Right there. Okay. Oops. Basically, this is kind of our launch site, I guess you could call it. We're gonna start here. And we're gonna go up. How far up we need to go, I don't remember. But we want to build a building. That's what the platform's for. And then we're gonna get, you know, a furnace and a workbench and some chests up here. This doesn't have to look really great for now. It's not going to look really great for now. That's just fine. Just needs to keep the bad guys out and the rain off our head. Where'd my little guy go? Gone. I don't know. Oh, there he go. He came back. He came back. We're okay. All right. We need some wood. Where's the nearest not annoying tree? I don't see any not annoying trees nearby. Yeah. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, I saw you coming. Okay. Oop. First thing. Well, you know what? Let's make some doors, but we've got doors back at the house. Why didn't I get both of those? I should have had both of those. Okay. Where did my compass go? Just disappeared. That's weird. That's very bizarre. Okay. Let's go home. easiest way to get down gonna be? This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be real fun. Getting over here with a minecart. Because I want to go underground, obviously. Or I could build an above ground kind of thing. But I don't want to do that. I could, but I don't want to. iPhone. You look silly with a hat on. Can I tell you that? Didn't help your smarts none. Can I tell you, I've been watching a lot of movies lately. Because I've taken some time off work. So while I've been, working on a million other things, I try and watch a movie or two. And there's some really bad movies that exist in the world, ladies and gentlemen. I've been watching some really poorly made horror movies. I like horror movies. Not because they're, I think we've talked about this. I don't watch horror movies because I think they're scary per se, but if it's good, it can be scary. But there's so many of them that aren't. Or they do scary wrong. What was it called? I watched one a couple days ago, and I think it was called like Beware the Melon Heads or something like that. It sounds really stupid. And it was kind of stupid. Oh no, it was a chapter. It was like an anthology of 8 or 9 little short stories. I have to look it up. I can't remember what it's called, and I apologize. But it was an interesting idea. I know it sounds dumb, and it was a little dumb. But somewhere up in the PNW, Pacific Northwest, for you uninitiated. Excuse me. I guess there's this kind of urban legend, kind of like the Hills Have Eyes people, right? There's these families that just kind of weird incestual cannibals who live out in the woods. And I don't know if it's supposed to be hydrocephalus, however you pronounce it in this situation, or what, but all the children have these giant heads, like sci-fi alien size heads, telepathic power size giant heads. Okay. And in this story, this guy and his wife and their son have moved to this new house up in the PNW. And excuse me. Maybe we're gonna plant some dark oak trees somewhere. I don't remember where. They the son's a little weird. Mom and dad are a little weird, but not like terrible. Like mom is really into art, but like weird, like odd paintings kind of thing. And so the kid, he makes a friend. He makes a new friend. His kid lives out in the woods, and his name's like William or something like that. I don't remember. And everybody's like, is William imaginary? And the kid eventually is like, yeah, I guess. Fine. He's my new imaginary friend. Stop asking me questions. And eventually, William, big-headed kid that he is, and his folks, they kidnap the little kid. And over the course of like 20 minutes, they've turned him into a fellow large-headed child. And he is also now a cannibal. Don't know how, don't know why. It's just how that happened. Is a little weird. He said it wasn't terrible. Just the presentation was weird. I think that's the kind of thing where it's this little vignette. I think it would have done better had it had more time. He said because it was just a snippet, in this. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. I think this has to be regular stone. Of these little short stories. So, each one's 15, 20 minutes. And just the way it kind of got crammed in there was really, really kind of silly. I watched one last night, which was a British movie, a bad British horror movie. And loosely, I was going to say loosely and roughly at the same time. And then I had that moment where like, oh, I understand Japanese people. I'm sorry. I won't make fun of you anymore. Because trying to say L and R at the same time is very difficult. I need 2 for that. That seems silly. There's this old story that to protect this village from is like a Viking invasion, these crowns were hidden, buried, and the spirit of the dead which is inside the crown protects the village, blah 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 blah. This was a story based on that. And very low budget. I think a lot of people had never done any acting before, and I'm not dunking on people, I don't think that, because I don't think I could do a better job. I don't. It's just silly. And like, there's a ghost of an archaeologist, excuse me. But he's maybe not a ghost. He's maybe not dead, but there is a ghost, and it's a girl. And she died in the 50s or something. There was a private detective who was also still a cop, I guess, because he took orders from the cops. And had to report to the cops, but he wasn't a cop. It was weird. It was a strange movie. Something Snow Good, it was called. Is very low budget. Not a bad premise. Excuse me. Like I said, I know I've read or heard an audiobook version of the story they were telling about these crowns. Just not well executed, I think is the fair way to say that. We need to go over here and get the location so I know where the hell I'm going. Yeah, something. It was something. And it was almost 2 hours long, which is insane for a low budget, cheap horror movie. Bad horror movie. Usually, when I'm looking for a bad horror movie, one of my criteria is I need to find a movie that's under 90 minutes because 90-minute is feature film length. Your movie has to be, 90 minutes for it to be considered a feature film. All right. 7, 154 minus 1324. Okay. So how do we want to do this? We don't really have a lot of room. And if we just came straight, we'd be going up real steep here. So I think we'll go down that way. So, what was I saying? Yeah, when I look for a bad movie, it's usually under 90 minutes because there's also something else with the release. Because it's a feature film, you have to pay more money for it to be released. Something. I don't remember exactly what. There's a lot of weird things when it comes to movies. So if you're looking for a cheesy horror movie, right, that guaranteed to be maybe not great, that's one of the things I would recommend to you. Make sure it's less than an hour and a half. Well, this one was almost 2 hours. It was like an hour 48, I think. And I got to be honest with you, as bad as this movie was, I have seen shorter movies feel longer. You know what I'm saying? Just because they are so, questionable quality. I watched one called, I think, Plastic Men, which was about a Vietnam vet and PTSD. It was surprisingly good. It didn't look like it was going to be great, and I don't usually care about stuff like that. Okay, we need to go farther this way. Not like I don't think it's important, but it's usually not something that I put in my wheelhouse, things I want to watch, because it doesn't interest me. And I don't know what made me watch this, but it was really quite good. Some disturbing images. Had a semi-happy ending, which I felt for our main character. I feel like he deserved a happy ending. I started one yesterday. I couldn't finish it because it was too scary. Ooh. No, I had a gig last night. Really needed a nap. I was so tired. So I was watching it and I stopped about halfway through, maybe a little more than halfway, and went and grabbed my nap. I'm going to finish it today. You know, another thing I need to do is, do I have home on here? Don't. What we need to do, we need to figure out how deep we need to go to get to home. And then we can kind of work it backwards. This is like first person Cubert. That's an idea. That's a bad idea, but that is an idea. Can't argue with that. So I think after this, I hear you, Spider. Watch me not care about you, Spider. Don't really care about the zombies. Don't really care about the Enderman. We're just gonna go. So we need to grab a door while we're there. That ain't a bad looking house. It ain't the, you know, finest thing I've ever made, but that ain't too bad. I'm fairly pleased with this house. Okay. Door. We'll take the oak door. And we'll take all of this. I know I had some. Yeah. Just where we were. Go ahead and put that in there. We'll have this come out over here somewhere. Home is going to be minus 262, 64, 1364. So our X is like 250 off. Our Y is like 90, but our Z is only like 40. I don't think it'll be too terrible. I think we'll use up this copper for our tools. Because I don't want to burn through all of my iron doing this. We shouldn't need the axe at all. Okay. That back in there. That back in there. Oh. That in there. All right. Let's grab a quick nap and we'll head back up. I feel like it's going to be easier coming down from the mountain than up the mountain. You know, it's like gravity work in our favor here. That's exactly how things work in Minecraft. Hey, pal. Hey, pal. No, I saw a skeleton in an armor over here somewhere. Maybe despawned or something. He ain't here, so we don't need to worry about him. But he was there. Saw him. Gravel. All right. Gravel's my favorite material in all of Minecraft. I know some people don't like it. It's right up there with terracotta, the finest of materials. My top 3. Gravel, terracotta, and gold. Gold ingots. Not gold ore, not bricks, not blocks, not armor. Ingots. Okay. One thing I want to do. I like that one decided to be upside down. Okay. Get out of here. I don't think so. Now I can get in and out of here. Okay. So we need to go down to 64. Making these 2 wide for a reason, instead of 1 or 3. That's probably what we're going to be doing for the rest of the stream / video. It's not a stream. We're not streaming. We've got those powered rails, and sometimes we want to power those, so we'll need some redstone. So if we make these 2 wide, we can just put a redstone torch next to them. We don't have to get fancy and try and hide them. It's also easier, I think, to light the whole thing up, you know. Music's very active today. I don't remember if we finished our earlier conversation about Phil. Here's the TLDR. Don't be like Phil. And don't be like Phil fans, ladies and gentlemen, because I gotta be honest with you. Your old pal Jason and like 1,000 other people were all tagged in a community post that basically said we are going to jail because we made fun of Phil. I'm not making that up. because we made fun of Phil one time. And I don't even know which instance it would have been where I made fun of Phil, but one of his fans took offense that we would make fun of Phil. So, yeah, I got an alert, which is odd for YouTube that those actually work. Oh, and I guess YouTube's bringing back private messages now. I think I saw that. Okay, sure. Whatever. No, so I got 2 alerts that said I was mentioned in a post, and I looked at the post, and it was just at this person, at this person, at this person, just hundreds of them. I didn't know you could put that many characters in a community post. I've really screwed up this form here. And it was just, you know, for all your misdeeds, things you have said about Phil, I want you to know you will be going to jail. Okay. I mean, take me away, I guess. I made fun of a 40-something-year-old man, baby. I realize we could be going diagonal to get there, but sometimes it's hard to do with mine tracks, I have found. There are a couple of... I gotta go back to Phil for a minute, I'm sorry. There are a couple of people who watch Phil who have, you know, some disabilities, some learning disabilities. You know, a lot of the detractor community makes fun of them, calling them dented or wheelchairs, you know, because you got a head dent. I don't subscribe to that. I think that, you know, that's unnecessary. But I guess there is one person who, like, legitimately requires a lot of care and is in a wheelchair. And I feel bad for him a little bit, not because of his condition, whatever that condition may be, but I feel bad for him because, you know, I think he really sees the way they interact. I think he sees Phil as a friend, and Phil doesn't care about you, pal. I mean, he'll be nice to you on your streams, but on his stream, excuse me, but you know, you don't have a lot of cash to spend, right? And I saw you give him $20 one time to do something, and he wouldn't do it for you. And he gave you some, like, nonsense excuse, like, well, it's just not in the format or the whatever, or, you know, we can't do this or we can't do that because of this or that. You know, I feel bad for you, pal. You deserve better people to hang out with. However, you know, I can't, obviously, I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. I worry you're getting taken advantage of, because he has done that in the past. And it ain't right. It just occurred to me that maybe we were going the wrong direction for our X. I got a little scared. Oh, we're going to have to turn around, but no, we're going the right way. It boggles my mind. He's so greedy. He's so greedy. And he uses his streams to cover it up. You know, he's not greedy. He's just got to do this to make a living. There's no other way for him to make a living. We're all poor. But he can't survive without our money. Right? He said that to somebody. You know, the only reason you don't do this is because you're too poor to do this. And like literally the next breath, you know, we really need some support. Guys, this is my livelihood. Da 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 da. And if you just extrapolate that out, if he thinks his audience is poor, he's panhandling, he's e-begging from people he thinks are poor. But the minute anybody says, well, Phil, people have bills, they have things they need to take care of too, not, you know, it's not our responsibility to pay your bills. Well, then you're full of shit. You're a liar. You have money. You just need to give it to him. Your money needs to be his money. There's no other way for him to earn a living. He's been out of the job market too long. He's got too many detractors. He's got too many this. He's got a million excuses for why he can't, you know, go out and get a real job. And he would be so much better served, you know, because he could go and get a real job, and he could stream 3 nights a week instead of 6. And, you know, he'd have to beg less. He'd still be terrible at video games, and he'd still be, you know, a greedy gambling addict, and berate his audience and people who are better at video games than him. He would still be all of those things. And he would still likely beg just as much. But at least at that point, I went too far down. But at least at that point, ladies and gentlemen, said home was 64. He'd have a little more skin in his own game. You know what I mean? Sorry. Needed a stretch. So we need to go this way to negative 262, and that way to 2509. We're going to be doing a lot of mining in the next few streams, ladies and gentlemen. I think we will go until we break this pick, and then we will wrap this up. I'm surprised we haven't found... We found a little bit of coal. We found a little bit of iron. We found 1 emerald. We haven't really found anything else. That surprises me. A little bit. Any second now. It's gonna break. Told you. Okay, I'll put a torch right there. We're gonna need some more torches, too. Oh, we're alright. God damn it. No, you screwed it up. You screwed it up. Take the rest of this cobblestone. We'll take most of the rest of this cobblestone that we've dug up, and we will make more stairs. Is it that button? Yep. That's terrible. Let's not do that anymore. It's raining. Let's book it home. I was aiming for the water. I didn't make it. That's okay. Anybody else around? No? You're not cooperating. Stuck again. Oh. God damn it. You're the worst skeleton ever. I don't think we picked up a single record yet. Shield's looking a little rough. I should just break one of those. If Minecraft water worked like that, it'd drain the ocean. Partly. All right. Let's go get a couple things put away. this up. Let's make me 2 full stacks of stairs. Let's make me 3 full stacks of stairs. I think that's a better idea. Fill up our tools before we go. Armor's fine. Armor's fine. Okay. All right, folks. There's Felix at the door. It's raining. Been 2 hours. Sounds like a good stopping point to me. So, sorry we couldn't stream again. That is the unfortunate part. This is the thing. This is the thing, folks. Look at that thing. And I updated this thing, so we can add that to it. Oh, why did it do that? I need to fix that. All right. So here's the thing. We're working on goals here a little bit. Not like give me money to open Pokemon card goals, but, you know, kind of, sort of. 500 subs is the goal for YouTube. I don't know why it doesn't have the... Oh, it's because I put the numbers on it last time. That's why. Why did I do that? That would be why it didn't do that. There we go. So let's update that real quick. That is now 41. Okay. So 450, we'll do the rest of the game library. 500, we'll start the Earthbound thing. Twitch, that's a combination of followers and subscribers, because I couldn't get a good number for individuals. It was weird. And there's Kick. So yeah, as we go on, we'll find things to do, different little things for goals and whatnot. So I wanted something to track them that was visible, but not, you know, all the time like it used to be. So yeah, Destiny of an Emperor still going on the channel. Arzette, Jewel of Faramore still going on over on Patreon. Next month, July, Patreon is going to be missed. What else can I tell you? I don't think I have much else to tell you. Well, I think we're going to wrap up Ghost of a Tale here in the next session. I will try again to get our streaming thing sorted out here because it's getting a little ridiculous. So I apologize again for that. I will call them today or tomorrow and see what I can do about getting that sorted. So thanks everybody for being patient with me when it comes to that. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Take care.